5 on Your Side at 10 starts now.
A man accused of murder with a machete. Tonight, Only 5 on Your Side has surveillance video of the aftermath and reaction from the suspect's father.
He did nothing wrong but defend himself.
One-man repair crew tackling tornado devastation.
I'm gonna fix as many houses as I can.
The North St. Louis handyman on a mission to rebuild his neighborhood. Plus, caught on camera, more tornadoes touching down just hours ago in Missouri and Illinois, while our storm threat may not be over yet.
5 on Your Side starts now with a weather impact alert.
Right now, storms are still moving through south and east of St. Louis, but the potential of severe weather impacts is diminishing as you head to bed. Good evening. I'm Kelly Jackson.
And I'm Mike Bush. Tonight's storms pack less of a punch in the metro area than anticipated, which was good news. Storms earlier today did cause some damage to our north. Viewers captured a tornado crossing the Mississippi River from Pike County, Missouri into Illinois. It brought down power lines and trees in the Clarksville area. And new video tonight of a tornado tearing through central Illinois. It shows a building outside Springfield being shredded by a twister. In Jacksonville, a baseball complex was heavily damaged ahead of a big weekend tournament. The National Weather Service will survey the area to determine if it was a tornado or straight line winds that caused all that damage.
Now let's get straight over to Weather Impact Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell, who has been here throughout the day tracking the storm threat.
And we know that storm up in Pike County was indeed a tornado, a little over 3 miles long, rated EF1 with peak winds at 105 miles per hour. Things have settled down. We did get a gust tonight when those showers and rumbles came through. 46 miles per hour over at Lambert. Those gusty thunderstorms have pressed on to the east and they're moving out of our viewing area. They did not produce any severe weather for St. Louis, and there are a few more storms coming in from the west, but nothing in the immediate metro right now. And again, what's off to the east of us is not severe. These haven't been severe either coming out of Kansas City and out of northern Missouri, but they're dropping more southeast than moving west to east. Add the lightning in there, and yes, there is a bit of cloud to ground lightning, but not a lot. So it's not really a big deal. For the rest of the night, we'll see a few of these showers percolating across the region. Our temperatures have dropped to around 70, so now we don't have an air mass that supports strong to severe thunderstorms. I think for the rest of the night, outside of a few rumbles of thunder, especially off to the west and south of St. Louis, you're going to see things settling down quite a bit as we head towards tomorrow morning. And effectively, our weather impact alert is winding down right now. For tomorrow morning, a mix of sun and clouds out the door near 70. It'll be pretty comfortable tomorrow. It's the pick day of the week, but there are big changes for the weekend as temperatures go in the opposite direction, and we see some of the hottest weather we've seen since last summer. More on that in a few minutes, Kelly.
All right, Scott. Tonight, a kindergarten teacher in Farmington is charged with possessing and promoting child sexual abuse material. According to court documents, 36-year-old Erica Morton shared those files on the Kick messaging app. Morton taught at the Truman Learning Center in the Farmington School District. In a letter to families, the district says there is no indication from law enforcement that the alleged incidents took place on school grounds or involved any students. Morton is no longer employed by the district. Back in December, she was named Teacher of the Year for Truman Learning Center, where she taught for 10 years.
One man is dead, another behind bars after a deadly shooting inside a Ferguson Home Depot this morning. This is just the latest in a string of deadly shootings in that North County area. Robert Townsend has new details and video about another murder involving a machete. And tonight, the suspect's father is talking only to 5 on Your Side.
Police say around Wednesday morning, shoppers at this Home Depot on Halls Ferry Road in Ferguson suddenly heard gunshots.
It's a good place to shop. I do want to make mention of that. Home Depot is not a dangerous location.
Investigators say 2 men got into an argument near a front checkout area when one pulled out a gun and fatally shot the other. The man then took off, but police arrested him in Spanish Lake.
A physical altercation, as I mentioned, between just 2 individuals. We don't know if they known or unknown to each other.
Last Tuesday, multiple gunshots rang out near West Florissant and Chambers Road in Dalewood. Officers investigated the crash and found 19-year-old LaFrance Wilson dead in a car. They arrested a 23-year-old man at the scene. And just blocks away on Thursday, police say Brian Washington stabbed Robert Lewis in his heart with a machete.
It's different now. So when it's just like, man, they just, Gotta get it together, man.
Ferguson police say surveillance footage from a nearby store showed Lewis approach Washington at this bus stop on West Florissant. According to court documents, Washington pulled a machete out of his pants, stabbed the victim in his heart, and then ran off. A neighbor shared this video he says shows the victim also ran but collapsed in a street. He died at a hospital. Why did your son have a machete?
He works on yards, cutting weeds down.
Washington's father insists his son stabbed Lewis with a smaller machete-type knife.
He was defending himself. This man came searching for my son.
North County neighbors and police are tired of the violence.
The things not only just going on in our city, but just in the region as a whole. You know, the de-escalation, things that's needed in our community is obviously evident.
So at this point, Washington is in jail, charged with second-degree murder and armed criminal action. His father tells me he will fight for his son.
I'm out here for my son. I'm not finna let my son go to jail.
Robert Townsend, 5 on your side.
Washington remains in jail on a $1 million bond. Tonight, St. Louis police are looking for several drivers who hit a man on I-70 and didn't stop. The man died as he tried crossing the highway near the Salisbury exit overnight. Police are asking anyone who saw what happened to call Crime Stoppers. That number is 866-371-TIPS. You can remain anonymous. Tonight, a North City man with a knack for craftsmanship says he wants to put his skills to good use.
He has already repaired the damage to his own home. Brent Solomon is here to explain how this handyman is now on a mission to fix other homes in his Penrose neighborhood.
And so many of those homes are in bad shape right now. It's why he started a fundraising effort to make immediate repairs for his neighbors, prioritizing the single parents out there and the elderly. The goal is to get rid of the middleman. When you ride down Lee Avenue near O'Fallon Park, you see it firsthand.
They lost the roof. There were two-story buildings that were piled with bricks.
It's tugging at Calvin Motley's heartstrings because he lives here.
There's some people who were displaced. They have nowhere to go. There are people living in tents.
He's always been good with his hands.
I rehab several houses.
It's why he was able to quickly repair his own tornado-damaged roof. Now he's assessing the damage at his neighbors' homes.
I just wanted to help.
The effort's catching the attention of St. Louis criminal defense attorney Mark Timmerman, who's seen Motley's work for himself.
Perfect 5-star reviews, hundreds of ratings.
He helped Motley launch a GoFundMe, raising money to stabilize his neighbors' homes in North City. It started with a $5,200 goal to begin work on 4 homes. But since then, the dollars kept coming in. It's now expanded to a $10,000 goal to help even more people. And just a few days ago, donors exceeded that goal, which is now up to $50,000.
Boards, 2x4s.
Motley says all of the money is going towards repairs, materials, and labor. His time will be reimbursed at $30 an hour.
I hope to see that neighborhood be treated with dignity. I hope that homes are restored by Calvin's hands.
Because when you have a knack for something, why not use it for the greater good?
I'm gonna fix as many houses as I can.
Now, GoFundMe shared this initiative with us, which we've posted on KSDK.com. Organizers say the money will go into a dedicated bank account with all of the spending records made public. Attorney Timmerman telling me tonight, quote, "I hope people learn how to be a neighbor from Calvin."
It has been 3 months since an EF2 tornado hit the Hot Shot in Arnold. Tonight, the bar is finally back open. It sustained major damage in the March 14th storm. The owner says they also lost nearly $500,000 in sales. A grand reopening will be held Saturday. In the last 72 hours, another predatory text is making the rounds, counting on you to panic.
The Missouri Transportation Department, MoDOT, is fielding thousands of calls about it. Tonight, Ann Allred from the Verify team is here to put your mind at ease.
These texts sound urgent, threaten action if you don't meet the deadline. but keep it just general enough that it could apply to you. And this isn't the first fake text this year claiming to be from the Missouri government. This text started pinging phones Monday, claiming to be from MoDOT. It says you have an outstanding traffic ticket, and if you don't click the link and pay, your license will be suspended, you'll pay fines, and be prosecuted. It's all a lie.
MoDOT will never text you to solicit you to pay a fee of any kind. MoDOT is not an enforcement agency. There are no tolls in Missouri. So if you receive a text urging you to pay a toll fee or threatening action if you haven't paid a traffic violation fee and they're posing as the Missouri Department of Transportation, you can be confident that is a scam.
Scammers want to incite fear, so you'll act and click that link. Missouri officials don't know why there's been an influx of scammers posing as government departments. But if you get one of these texts, just delete it. Report it as junk in the messaging app. We can verify the text claiming you have an unpaid ticket are a scam. I'm Ann Allred, 5 on your side.
What would you like for us to verify? Send us an email to verify@ksdk.com.
A disturbing find after the body of an unknown train crash victim is exhumed in Illinois.
We're going to get to the bottom of this.
Tonight, the mystery deepens. Wiping away germs. Tonight, we're putting heavy-duty cleaners under the microscope. The homemade solutions that could get the job done.
As our weather impact alert winds down, we talk about the potential for big-time heat and humidity building into the weekend, plus a few more storms overnight. We'll see you in a few minutes.
A decades-old mystery in Salem, Illinois may finally be solved. A 1971 train derailment killed 11 people. One of them was never identified. For more than 50 years, the Tonti gravestone marked the final resting place of an unknown victim of the derailment. But when researchers exhumed the remains last week, they found something no one expected. Not one body, but fragments from up to 3 people. Now, DNA testing is underway to finally name the nameless. All work a Mizzou journalism student considers important.
Wouldn't you want to be mourned by your family? Wouldn't you want people to know what happened to you? And I think that's what we're trying to give this person.
DNA results could take up to a year. In the meantime, the remains are being held at a local funeral home under a court order.
Tonight, the deal is done between Japan's Nippon Steel and U.S. Steel, but the future of the Granite City plant is still up in the air. As part of the $14 billion deal, the company will keep its headquarters in Pittsburgh. President Trump also gets veto power over any decision to idle plants, cut production, or get rid of staff. We've reached out to the local union representing workers in Granite City, but have not heard back yet. When it comes to killing bacteria in your home, you may reach for the strongest cleaner you can find.
And I know you do.
Yes.
But do you really need those heavy-duty chemicals to get the job done? Tonight, Allison Gormley puts both store-bought and homemade cleaners to the test.
We all want clean homes, but with so many products available, it's hard to know what's effective and easier on your lungs. So we bought some commercial cleaners and bleach as well as ingredients to make our own more natural options. The first solution, equal parts vinegar and distilled water with drops of essential oils for scent. The other, a 1/4 cup rubbing alcohol, 1/2 teaspoon of Castile soap, and distilled water. We took the homemade and commercial cleaners to a lab at Indiana University, Indianapolis, to test how well they kill bacteria similar to E. coli and Salmonella.
We put the bacteria on a hard surface, like your countertop. We then sprayed it with a cleaner and wiped it down to try to get rid of that bacteria.
Dr. Jay Vornhagen, an assistant professor of microbiology, and his team then measured how much bacteria was left behind. What they found might surprise you.
They were all efficacious in getting rid of this bacteria.
His numbers showed each product knocked out more than 99% of the bacteria. However, Dr. Vornhagen said you may want to consider how you're using each product. For example, if you're cleaning kids' toys, pet products, or working near food, vinegar and Castile soap are safer to ingest. On the flip side, bleach can also serve a purpose.
If you're working with a high contamination surface, like a toilet or maybe a shower, some of those stronger cleaners are definitely appropriate.
The team also tested one more product against the bacteria, plain old water.
The mechanical action of wetting a surface and wiping it down does a lot of the work to get rid of those bad bacteria. And over 99.99% of those bacteria were removed just by doing that.
However, he added that this should not be considered an adequate cleaning method as the bacteria is likely still alive, just moved around. Information to help clear up your next cleanup.
That was Allison Gormley reporting. Dr. Vornhagen said a lot of the solution should also work against viruses because the killing mechanisms are the same.
A night of fashion and compassion as designer handbags help raise money for homeless dogs at the Humane Society of Missouri. Shoppers packed Missouri's largest animal shelter tonight for the popular Purses for Pooches event. Women with a few men in the mix browsed, bid, and bought new or gently used designer bags and accessories. The annual fundraiser supports the shelter's Animal Cruelty Task Force.
They are our agents who are boots on the ground, 365 days a year, 24/7, helping to abuse and neglected animals that then come back to the Humane Society to get medical treatment, love, and just get them ready and set for adoption.
Each year, the task force responds to more than 20,000 reports of suspected animal abuse or neglect. Tomorrow is Juneteenth. Several local celebrations will be held to mark the national holiday. It commemorates the day in 1865 when the last enslaved Black Americans in Texas learned they were free. We have a full list of events tomorrow on KSDK.com. Text the word Juneteenth to 314-425-5355 and we'll send you a link.
Today, of course, was June 18th, but in the Metro East, that means it was 618 Day. The Urban League hosted a block party to celebrate the area code. It was a chance to connect people with all the programs it offers. 618 was put into service in 1947, the year KSDK went on the air, and was one of the original 86 area codes. Newborns at Alton Memorial Hospital and Memorial Hospital in Shiloh are celebrating 618 Day. Ezra, Hayes, Lena, KJ, and Nama are all happy and healthy in their special onesies.
They are adorable. Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell here with the weather impact forecast, and thankfully that severe weather threat is passing.
Winding down.
Yeah, at this point it is definitely winding down, that's for sure. I want to show you what it looked like this evening. The showers and thunderstorms coming at us here in St. Louis. There comes the shower, but wait, watch. Ooh, look at that. Bright sunshine, then another shower, and then we finally get our sunset. So St. Louis to get the sun and rain right there together like that. It was actually very pretty, and to come through without severe weather tonight was a bonus for us. That's from Donna as that storm was crossing across the Mississippi River out of Pike into Calhoun County earlier today. That was before lunchtime. Very few tornadoes actually touched down in our area in the morning hours like that. EF1 rating, National Weather Service survey team already went up there, took a look at it. That was the 104 mile per hour wind damage that got that rating at a home there, and also with some buildings and trees down. And then it went across the river and lifted once it got just into Calhoun County. Why did that happen? Well, it was all because of that little spin you see there. Actually, it's a bigger size spin, but little in standards of weather terms. Normally, you get the big jet stream spins. This was created by thunderstorms in Kansas last night. Remember, we talked about that last night, and that was driving the weather not only there, but really helped form that line of thunderstorms over our eastern counties that tonight is all the way over into Cleveland. The additional storms that have formed this evening have not been that bad. What's up to the north and west of St. Louis? Coming along 70, moving east-southeast, that's going to impact areas west and southwest of St. Louis overnight, but it's just going to be a few rumbles of thunder, maybe a downpour. Severe weather threat's over. The next threat we deal with is heat and humidity. You're saying, yeah, it gets hot in the summertime. We've only had one 90-plus degree day so far. That was yesterday. It was the first one for the year. And Friday, we're in the low 90s, mid 90s, with it feeling like by Saturday afternoon and Sunday afternoon in that 105 to 106 degree range, which means, yes, another weather impact alert, because this is dangerous heat. Heat has a cumulative effect on our bodies, and especially because we're not used to that heat, this is going to creep up on us as we go through the weekend into next week. Make sure you're staying hydrated, getting plenty of water. A lot of people are at risk here, especially in North St. Louis, because of the lack of air conditioning. because of the storms. All right, so we're talking about temperatures back into the mid-80s. Juneteenth tomorrow. It is the pick day. Out of the next 7 to 10 easily. Dangerous heat builds in this weekend. All we can say is really try to spend some time in air conditioning. And if you don't have it, you can go during the hottest part of the day to the library. You can go visit a church. You can go to the mall, someplace that at least has air conditioning to let your body cool down. And that's going to be especially true by Sunday into Monday and Tuesday when it starts build. Those impacts and effects start building.
Yeah, we don't want anybody on the news because of the heat.
Right.
Yeah. Scott, thanks. Frank is here with sports.
Mike, our soccer heroes are about to be honored. The Kachucks can't stop celebrating, and frankly speaking, get your hands off Caitlin Clark right now. The Cardinals don't lead the league in wins, but they do in double headers. Tomorrow will be their 6th. They were rained out tonight in Chicago.
This 5 on Your Side St. Louis City SC coverage is sponsored by Together Credit Union.
Next Wednesday, City SC will honor the 75th anniversary of the 5 St. Louisans on the 1950 U.S. World Cup team. The team pulled off one of the greatest upsets in sports history, beating England. Harry Kehoe was one of the players on that team. We caught up with his son, Ty, a soccer legend himself.
I think he talked about the pride that the St. Louis guys had, that they were 5 of them. And there were guys that knew each other growing up and had played against each other. And, there 4 of the guys were from the Hill. My dad was from the Cronolette area. He learned his soccer from Spanish Americans from Spain. And, of course, the Italian Americans in the Hill, they picked up their soccer in the neighborhood, too, the same way Yogi Berra did and Joe Garagiola.
For the 2nd year in a row, Matthew Tkachuk is going to have the best summer a hockey player can have. The St. Louis native took home his 2nd straight Stanley Cup last night with the Florida Panthers. And of course, he had his family there to celebrate. Today, as the party took over at a beach bar in Florida, Dad Keith got the crowd fired up. Here's Matthew on his family and his unbelievable team.
My parents and my brother and my sister, I wouldn't be here without them. It's so emotional because this is a dream. You have a childhood dream of winning the Stanley Cup, and to do this back-to-back times, go to 3 straight finals, win 2 of them. I mean, we're a dynasty, and I can't believe that this is what's happened in the last few years. Coming to Florida was one of the greatest things that's ever happened to me.
The gentleman behind me is Brandon Martin. For the last 3.5 years, he's been a police officer for the city of St. Louis. And although he's never had to get physical yet, I would not recommend testing him because Martin's other job is boxing. He's the Midwest Cruiserweight champion. His record, 10-1 with 7 knockouts. This 6'4", 200-pounder has a big fight coming up on June 28th at Diamond Hall in St. Charles. Now, Brandon got a late start in the sport, and he's 39 years old, but he told me he's motivated.
Like, I'm hungry. It's like I never ate before in this boxing world. I'm starving. So I do whatever it takes, whatever I have to do, whatever type of time I got to put in, whether it's training 1 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, 10 o'clock at night, whatever. I mean, I give up a lot of family time in order to make sure that I'm good and prepared for whatever I got coming up.
Last night's scuffle involving WNBA star Caitlin Clark is still over all the socials. It was the Connecticut Sun's turn to use the rough stuff on Clark, but the league announced today that no suspensions will be forthcoming. After the game, Caitlin didn't want to talk about the incident. To her, it's next play.
I'm a passionate player, but at the end of the day, I'm here to play basketball, and that's what it is. And my game's going to talk, and that's all that really matters. And I love this game, and I'm going to give it everything I have. So I think that's what competitors do. You just step right back up to the challenge.
Finally tonight, a word about the treatment of Caitlin Clark. What you just saw wasn't the end of the world. She didn't get hurt and will play the next game, and everybody's talking about it. But some of those WNBA players better be careful and not hurt her. You don't want to kill the goose that lays the golden egg. When she's not playing in WNBA games, the attendance is 7,600. When she does play, it's 15,000. Almost 3 million watched her on TV last Saturday. When she missed 5 games, TV ratings dipped 55%. Look, there's some really talented basketball players in the WNBA, and because of Caitlin, the country is getting a chance to see them for the first time. So you better be careful, because if you hurt her and she's not playing, you could go right back to being the league that nobody watched. And that's Frankly Speaking for tonight.
And one final check tonight of your radar pictures. We're looking at some more scattered showers and thunderstorms coming in towards Columbia. Doesn't look like they have much of a threat to be severe here, but we may get a few more downpours, especially south and southwest of St. Louis as we head into the overnight hours. Effectively, though, the weather impact alert winding down for the severe weather threat. But tomorrow, we'll talk about a really pleasant day before the heat builds back in going into the weekend.
And that weekend heat is going to be very dangerous.
Very dangerous because we haven't had any real heat yet, and we haven't had any extended hot, humid weather. And we're getting both instantaneously. Mid to upper 90s for highs this weekend.
But dry.
But dry.
All right, Scott, thanks. There you have it, 5 on your side at 10. Of course, we're always streaming on 5+.
Be sure to start your day with Today in St. Louis. That starts at 4 a.m. Have a great tomorrow.